My dad kicked me out at 15 over a lie. Now he wants my house for my sister. I told him the truth and he went silent. I'm 31 now, a real estate developer and doing well for myself. But the story of how I got here is anything but simple. It all started when I was 15, the night my father threw me out of the house based on a lie told by my stepmom, Beth. My real mom died when I was 4. After she passed, my dad remarried when I was 7. Beth seemed nice at first, overly nice. She did the whole trying too hard stepmom act, but things changed after she had my half-sister Jenny. That's when I became the outsider in my own home. I was never good enough. No matter what I did, my dad found fault. A B+ on a hard chemistry test? Why isn't this an A? Made the basketball team? Why aren't you starting? But with Jenny, she could fail a test, and they'd say, "It's okay, sweetie. You tried your best." Beth turned her attention completely to Jenny, and I was just extra. Looking back, I'm pretty sure I had undiagnosed ADHD. I couldn't focus, had trouble sitting still, and struggled in school. But instead of trying to understand me, Dad just yelled. His favorite line? "Why can't you just be normal like your sister?" Beth was no better. When Dad was at work, she showed her true colors, forgetting to make enough food, deliberately ruining my laundry, moving my stuff to make it look like I was messy. If I tried to tell Dad, he just believed her lies. Then I saw her cheating. One day walking home, I took my usual shortcut through Wilson Park and saw Beth kissing another man, Mark, some guy who used to come over for her charity events. I didn't know what to do. Who would believe me? Beth had spent years painting me as a liar and a troublemaker, plus Dad worshipped Jenny. So I said nothing, but I started noticing things, like Jenny's hair color not matching anyone else in our family. Then one night, I overheard Beth on the phone. He thinks she's his, but we both know the truth. She was talking about Jenny. Mark was her real father, not my dad. That's when Beth turned up the manipulation. She watched me like a hawk, twisted innocent moments into something suspicious. One time, I was helping Jenny with her math homework. Beth pulled her away and later told Dad I was getting too close. 2 weeks later, everything blew up. The lie that destroyed my life. I came home from school to see 2 cop cars outside. Inside, Beth was fake crying, Dad looked ready to explode, and Jenny was nowhere in sight. The police told me Beth and Jenny accused me of touching her inappropriately. I was stunned, numb, sick. I kept saying, "That's not true," but the cops just kept asking horrible questions. I tried to tell them Beth was lying because I caught her cheating. They didn't believe me. Dad lost it. Called me sick, evil, jealous, threw a trash bag at me and told me I had 10 minutes to get out. As I packed, I heard Beth downstairs coaching the narrative. Jenny stood by her side, confused, scared, probably coached into this whole thing. I tried one last time to say it wasn't true that Beth was lying, but Dad shoved me out the door. I wasn't his son anymore. Homeless at 15. I spent the next few months living in an abandoned warehouse. I couldn't go to school, couldn't get a job, and was treated like a criminal everywhere I went. Beth had poisoned the whole town against me. A homeless man named Tom took me under his wing. He taught me how to survive, how to stay warm, where to get food, how to stay out of trouble. Eventually, he convinced me to leave town, gave me $40 and the address of his cousin in the city. That's how I met Dave, a restaurant manager who gave me a shot. I started as a dishwasher, worked my way up to line cook, lived in the storage room for months, eventually rented a tiny place of my own. I never stopped working, studied business books from the library, got my GED, didn't date, didn't trust anyone. Then I met Amy. She was a regular at the restaurant, smart, kind, studying, business. She actually talked to me like I mattered. Eventually, she helped me apply for a job at her dad's real estate development firm. I was terrified. What if they found out who I was? But she believed in me. I got the job, and I worked my way up from the very bottom to now being a successful developer. The past comes back. Now, all these years later, Dad reached out again. He didn't apologize, didn't ask how I'd survived. He wanted a favor. He asked if I could help transfer the deed to one of my properties to Jenny, so she and her fiancé could have a place to live. I met with them, sat across from the same people who destroyed my life. Then I looked him dead in the eyes and said, "You threw me out at 15 based on a lie. You chose her word over mine. You called me a predator, and now you want something from me? Jenny isn't even your daughter." Beth went pale. Jenny looked confused. Dad's face just crumpled. They were speechless. I stood up, tossed the folder with the deed across the table. "This is mine, earned with blood, sweat, and everything you tried to beat out of me. You don't get to ask for anything. Not now. Not ever." And then I walked out. When I got the interview, I had to borrow a suit from Dave. It fit weird, but it was all I had. The interview itself was terrifying. Amy's dad just stared at me in silence for a full minute before finally speaking. "Amy says you understand business," he said. "Prove it." Somehow I managed to talk intelligently about property development trends I'd read about. I even pitched a few ideas for his new project. At the end, he nodded and said, "You start Monday." When I told Amy I got the job, she hugged me. First time anyone had hugged me in years. I nearly cried right there in the restaurant. "I told you could do it," she said. That job changed everything. Her dad became like the father I'd always wished I had. He actually listened to my ideas, taught me everything about real estate development. Within a year, I was managing my own projects. And Amy and I, we got closer. We'd grab coffee after work, talk for hours. But I never asked her out. I kept thinking about Beth's lies about my past. Amy deserved better than some guy who used to live on the streets. Then one night, everything changed. We were working late on a proposal, just the two of us. "For someone so smart about business," Amy said, "you're really dumb about some things." "What do you mean?" She looked me right in the eyes. "I've been waiting 2 years for you to ask me out." I just sat there stunned. Finally, I said, "I'm not good enough for you, Amy. There's stuff you don't know about me." "Try me." So I told her everything about Beth, the lies, being homeless. I braced myself for disgust or fear. Instead, she cried. Then she got mad, not at me, but at Beth and my dad. How could they do that to their own son? She said. Then she kissed me. Just leaned across the desk and kissed me. That was the beginning. Amy and I got married not long after we started dating. Her family welcomed me in a way mine never had. We had our first kid, a boy, and bought a beautiful 5-bedroom house in a great neighborhood. Life was perfect. Then, 3 months ago, I was at work, scrolling through Facebook, and there it was, a friend request from my dad. He looked so much older in the profile picture. I just sat there staring. When Amy got home, she found me in the kitchen, staring at nothing. "What's wrong?" she asked. "Dad found me on Facebook." He'd sent a message, too. I couldn't bring myself to read it. Amy offered to do it for me. She opened the message and read aloud. "Son, I know it's been a long time. I'm getting older now. Been thinking a lot about the past. Not a day goes by I don't think about you. Beth and I want to make things right. Jenny misses her big brother. Please give us a chance to explain. Love, Dad." I laughed. Not a happy laugh. Jenny misses me? She was 8 when everything went down. She probably barely remembers me. Amy squeezed my hand. "You don't have to respond." But I did. I messaged back. "Why now?" His reply came fast. He said he was 58, had some health scares, realized life was too short, said Jenny was getting married and it would mean a lot to have me there. So we messaged back and forth for a few weeks. Found out Jenny was 24 now, working in marketing, engaged to a lawyer. Beth was apparently still the same. Amy warned me. People don't change that much. But I wanted to believe. So when they asked to visit, I said yes. Big mistake. They showed up one Saturday morning. Dad looked old. Gray hair, slight limp. Beth hadn't changed. Still had that fake smile. Jenny looked just like Mark now, though no one seemed to notice but me. The visit started awkward. Jenny cried when she saw pictures of my son. Beth jumped right into PR mode and Dad acted like he owned the place. Then came the pitch. Dad pulled me aside, told me Jenny and her fiancé needed a house, said we had 5 bedrooms and only 1 kid, suggested we sell to them cheap, since I could afford it. I lost it. You seriously asking me to give Jenny my house? Not give, he said. Sell cheap. You're doing well. This your idea of making things right? He got exasperated, told me to be reasonable. It's your sister. The one you chose over me? I snapped. The one you kicked me out for? That was a misunderstanding. You threw me out at 15. I lived on the streets. Beth walked in with her usual concerned act. Everything okay? Oh yeah, everything's fantastic, I said. Dad's just asking me to give my house to your daughter. You know, the one who isn't even his. Silence. Beth froze. Dad stared. Jenny looked confused. I walked out. Amy was in the backyard with Jake. One look at my face, and she knew. She took Jake inside while I dealt with the fallout. Beth tried damage control, denied everything. Dad didn't buy it. Maybe it was the way Jenny looked like Mark, or maybe he'd had doubts all along. He demanded a DNA test. A week later, he showed up at my office with the results. 0 chance. He was Jenny's father. He broke down crying right there. I should have felt vindicated, but I just felt hollow. Then it got worse. Amy called the next day. Dad had snapped. Beth tried to deny everything again. This time, he didn't just yell. He hurt her. Badly. Fractured vertebrae. She's in the hospital, facing lifelong pain management. Jenny called the cops. Dad was arrested. He's looking at 3 to 5 years. Jenny's wedding's off. Her fiancé bailed. Didn't want the baggage. Beth's in rehab. Turns out she'd been abusing pills for years. Jenny found out Mark died 2 years ago. Overdose behind a gas station. She's spiraling. Sends me long messages in the middle of the night. Says she sees Mark when she looks in the mirror. Amy says I need to block them. She's right. Every time I reply, Jenny gets more attached. Even her ex reached out. Wanted. To know if crazy runs in the family. I told him to go to hell. Beth still spinning lies, telling anyone who'll listen that I made it all up. Some old neighbors believe her. But life, it moves on. Amy's pregnancy is going well. We're having a girl. That extra bedroom Dad wanted for Jenny? It's going to be our nursery. Pink and gray, stars on the ceiling. Amy's vision. I think about Tom sometimes, the homeless guy who helped me when I had nowhere to go. Wish I could show him what became of me. Dad's side of the family suddenly remembers I exist. Some support him, some hate him. None of them gave a damn when I was sleeping on benches. Jenny messaged again yesterday, said she's moving out of state, starting fresh. Asked if we could stay in touch. I told her, maybe someday, but not now. I need to focus on my own family,